Hello. Today's training is going to be in regards to the new physician clinician portal that makes a medical record available between Paragon and NextGen all in one platform. So this way you can see all the patient's record for both the EMR system in one platform, making it easier and efficient for your day-to-day purposes. All right, so today's training is going to include as far as finding the icon within your Citrix storefront and then navigating within the portal itself. All right, so to start off the process, first you want to log into the Citrix storefront. And once you're in Citrix storefront, you want to make sure you look for the HIE clinician portal. Now, if you don't see that by default, it'll be available in the apps. So click on apps and then type in HIE. For my profile, I have two options. For you, it will be HIE clinician portal. All right, so if it's not in your favorites already, go ahead, click on details, and then click on add to favorites. Now for training purposes, I'm going to utilize the test environment so I can show you some of the test patients that we daily use and the documentation that's available to view. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and click on my test profile. Okay. Once it launches, it will ask for the login information. This login information is the same as your network username and password. Now this will be the login information that you daily use to get into the computer if you manually have to type it in. So go ahead and enter the username and password. All right. Once you logged in, the interface is pretty simple. To the left is all the search functionality. There is no census or list that you can always view in comparison to Paragon. You would have to manually search for the patient for the record that you're looking for. Now it has an option of remembering the recent searches. So if you recently searched for a patient, you don't have to go back and type the information again. You can go into this recent drop-down option, and then you can see all the recent patients you looked at, and then click on the name, and it will take you directly to that EMR record. Now, do keep in mind, for this 3M patient, I was looking at the Paragon record. So if you click on this, it will take me directly to the Paragon medical record aspect, not to the NextGen. And I'll show you down the road how it actually shows two different areas to look for it. So for any NextGen, you have to click on a different option, and for any Paragon, you have to click on a different option to view those. They don't merge together into one page. So I want to make sure you understand that when you are utilizing the recent option. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead, search for a patient. You can either go by last name, first name, or any of these options that makes the search as unique as possible. Okay. So let's see. Okay, so this will be the patient I'll be utilizing. Now, as you can see, if you don't enter as much information, your results might have few patients with a similar last name and similar first name. Now, this is where you can confirm the other areas as far as the gender, date of birth, address if you have it, and then as much information you have, the better as far as confirming the patient that you're looking for. Now, this is the patient I want to look for. So if you click on the little plus icon to the left here, it will give you two options. As I was mentioning before, that there is an area for Paragon medical record, and there's also an area for NextGen medical record. And PGN stands for Paragon medical records, right? So if you click on the PGN patient name, it will only show you all the Paragon medical record functionalities. Now, if you go into CPCN, that would be the NextGen part of it. So this will show all the NextGen documentation that is in the system. All right, so there is no way of viewing both at the same time. You would have to go back and click on the other platform if you are trying to utilize the opposite medical record information. So for this training, I'm going to go ahead and click on PGN. Now, the platform for both is exactly the same. It's just obviously the two different EMR systems with two different medical record documentations. Okay, so once you click on the selected EMR documentation you want to view, it will take you to this page. Again, the information is pretty simple. To the left is all the options you have as far as what's available to view, and to the middle it will be all the content that you can see within each of the tabs. All right, so starting from the top here, these icons, one to the right here on the top, will be any notifications, alerts that you would want to know for this patient. The middle part will be the patient demographic. So if you want to get any patient's basic information, you can click on that. It will take you directly to their information provided. All right, and then all the way to the right will be any patient allergies that you need to be aware of. All right, now do keep in mind you cannot make any changes in this platform as far as patient information or any medical record documentation. This is all a saved information from the original EMR system. So if you do realize that patient details or some information is not accurate, you would have to go back into the original EMR to make those changes in order for this platform to get reflected on. This is just strictly view only. Okay. So the summary obviously shows the allergies, medication, diagnosis, documents, laboratory results, and radiology or other results that's available within that category. So this is where you can see what's been documented and what is not. So the ones that has documentation or documentation, the EMR that got carried over to this platform will have all the information mentioned within each of those categories. All right, and that goes for the left side here as well. So if you look to the left side, there are little blue icons or bars to the left of each of the tabs. Those are the tab that has information that got carried over from the EMR system. The ones that does not have any patient's information carried over. So that's one way of efficiently understanding which tab has information and which one does not. So if you go into allergies and alerts, this is where you can obviously see any of the allergies that's been mentioned. Even if there's no allergies, it will still show as no allergies as one of the documentation that got carried over. So you'll still be notified regardless, as long as some sort of an allergy has been mentioned, even if it's no known allergy option. Now conditions will obviously show all the conditions that's been mentioned for this patient. Now this part of the EMR will pull off all the records that includes from all the visit IDs. So it's not per visit ID, it is from all the visit IDs for this patient. And then since we are looking at Paragon currently, this is all the documentations and conditions that's been mentioned in Paragon EMR system for all the visit IDs that this patient had. So obviously you can see for discharge summaries, there's no information provided, and that is why there is no blue notification to the left. Now, if you click on documentation, this is again really same content like I told you before, that all the documentation will be pulled over from all the visit IDs. Unfortunately, there's no way of differentiating which visit ID pertains to which documentation in this platform. There are obviously dates available, so you can go into Encounter tab, and this will show all the visit IDs that's been documented for this patient. So Encounter number is a visit ID, so you can look into that and get an idea exactly when this was initiated. So if you're looking for a documentation for this visit ID, you can base it off on the date. So this is 906, so you can go back into the document and then look for any 906 related documents, and that's how you know it was related to that visit ID. That is one way you can utilize to differentiate the visit ID, but again, unfortunately, it does not have the visit ID filtration option in this platform. So you would have to navigate between the Encounters and Document tab back and forth just to get an idea exactly what encounter you're looking at. Obviously, the document itself, if you click on any of these documents, in itself would actually have the encounter number mentioned. So that's another way of verifying that you're looking at the current visit ID when you are reviewing these documentations. So obviously all these documents you can click on, they're all hyperlinks, so you can go ahead and click on it. It will view the documentation for you. The detail, the blue icons, is a quick way of viewing the documentation in the same window. So if you click on it once, you will see the documentation to the right, and you can still view the list of documentation. So it's just a quick way of seeing it. If you click on the hyperlink itself, it will open up as another window. Okay. Now let's go into lab results. Again, this is all the results that's been pulled off from all the visit IDs. You can again navigate it through the dates. You can choose to have the recent dates up top, and the non-recent at the bottom if you like, if that makes it easier for your view. But by default, it should show the recent ones up to the top and the oldest one in the bottom. This way, then you know exactly what was the recent lab results that's displayed. Okay. And same thing, if you click on the detail tab for the labs, I just give you a quick overview of that lab result itself. So if you are looking for additional details for any of these lab results, you can go and click on the blue icon all the way to the right. You just have to make sure you scroll to the right. Since this area has a lot of information, it just cannot be contained into one window. Okay. So there's obviously no information for medication or other results, so the next one available will be the physical exam. And this again will show the basic information as far as weight and height, and any of the information that's been pulled over from Paragon will show under these tabs in relation to the physical exam. And then you can obviously scroll backwards and forwards for any of the older dates versus the newer dates. Again, this is all the information that's being pulled over from all the visit IDs. The radiology results, again, is a very useful tab. This will show all the results as far as radiology, and this is where all the EKG stuff can be displayed as well. For any of the radiology, unfortunately, there's no image option. So if you click on the results, it'll just show the Word documentation format of the results, so you can review it, but you just can't see any images. Now for EKGs and stuff, you'll be able to see the image itself. So anytime you see a little PDF option to the right of the results, I just don't have one in this example, but for any EKG results and whatnot, if you look at the right, let's just say a PDF, a clickable link. If you click on the PDF, and that's when you will be able to see the image itself for the ones that's available. But for radiology strictly, this does not have an imaging option. But you are able to read the result itself and get an idea from that way. Again, this will pull up all the radiology results from all the visit IDs. Okay, so that's pretty much the basic of the portal itself as far as what's available and what you can view. Again, like I said, you can view the next-gen records as well. If you go into the next-gen platform, it will look exactly the same as you're currently viewing. So there's no differences as far as the documentation view between those two. It's just that you just have to go manually back into the clinician portal and go back into the search, and then you just have to go ahead, like I said, type in the patient name again. And then you just have to go back to the same patient you were looking for. Now, in the previous part, we were looking at the Paragon part of it. Now, if you want to look at the next-gen medical records, you just have to make sure you're going under the CPCN area and click on the patient's name. And now, again, there's no information from next-gen for this patient, but for the patient that you are looking at, if it has next-gen documentation, this is where you will be able to see the next-gen part of it. Like I said, the view is exactly the same. We just have to go into two different areas to view each of the EMR documentation for that patient. Okay, so that's pretty much the only training and the full training of this portal. So if you have any questions or want to ask away how to find certain things, feel free to email me. My email is jebin.daniel@nm.org. Or feel free to alert MD by searching my name, Jebin Daniel, and we'll be able to get together and answering the questions that you have. Thank you for your time.